On an absolute tear. NL Player of the Month for June, 12 home runs in his last 33 games. His numbers, now tell me, if there's anybody that disagrees with this, I want to hear your argument because his numbers scream All-Star game. 396 on base percentage. He's second in the NL and fourth in all of Major League Baseball with a 904 OPS.
It's time for Sportsnaut's MLB podcast. Big League Buzz, news and interviews from around the majors. Here's your host, Scott Gulbranson.
Welcome back, baseball fanatics. It's time for Big League Buzz, the Major League Baseball podcast from your friends here at Sportsnaut. I am your humble host, Scott Gulbranson, self-professed baseball fanatic myself. So we're going to dive into the show right now. First, it's time. It's right. It's time for the All-Star break. We are at the Midsummer Classic, everybody, the midway point of the Major League Baseball season. Just a few weeks away from the trading deadline. Is your team in need of a big bat, another arm, a bullpen help, whatever it is? They are getting ready to work up to the trade deadline. So we'll have coverage of that. But first, today, we're going to devote this show to talking about the All-Star game coming up, of course, this week. From shocking snubs to cutting-edge tech. That's right. Robo umpires, the ABS is coming to the All-Star game, right? So we're going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to give you my bold prediction. What's yours for MVP of the All-Star game? So make sure you drop comments below, whether you're listening to us on audio, watching us on video. Make sure you drop your comments. Give us your prediction. We'll come back, we'll look at it, and we'll give you kudos here on the show if you were right. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your audio. Just look for Big League Buzz from Sportsnaut, and do us a favor. Make sure you rate and review. Turn on the auto download. That way, every time I push out a new show to you, guess what? Bam, it's there right on your device, and you can listen to it. So we appreciate it. So let's get into this right away. All-Star game, of course, coming up July 15th. At 8 p.m., Fox Sports Television, I should say Fox Television, the main network. You can catch all the action there. And for the first time since 2000, it's back in the Peach State. My folks down in Georgia, in Atlanta to be specific, it's going to be at Truist Park down there as well. American League, National League, you know how it goes. I'll tell you what, as a kid, I loved and hated the All-Star break. And I'll tell you why. Number one was I loved it. You got to see back in those days, I'm old enough for those of you who are younger to remember when we didn't have interleague play. So if I wanted to see my favorite National League players, grew up in a National League city, so I was a National League guy, play an American League player, you had to see in the All-Star game or the World Series. There was no other in between. So I was excited about that. The downside of that was like summer was half over and I had to go back to school. So That's where my All-Star break feelings and memories come from. But I always loved this time of the year. So we got to get into, though, now All-Star snubs. Every year there are some. You just can't avoid it. There's guys on the bubble, if you will. But I'll tell you, this year, there's some guys that I thought were no-brainers for the All-Star game and to be selected on one of the rosters, and they aren't. The roster's out, of course, ahead of the game. 60 players initially selected. We have replacements come in. But with even that many spots, there's really some head scratchers this year. So let's get into, I'm going to give you my top 5 snubs, okay, for the 2025 MLB All-Star game. Make sure you tell me what you believe. And I think these are the guys who absolutely deserved to be at the All-Star game. And it's a crime that they're not there. I'm going to start off first with Juan Soto of the New York Mets. I mean, he's a $765 million man. We know that. He started off a little slow. I shouldn't say slow. He started off, we even did a show on it here, an interview. He wasn't the Juan Soto, right? But he's come along there. Now, that slow start, after that slow start, I should say, he's been on an absolute tear. NL Player of the Month for June. 12 home runs in his last 33 games. His numbers, now tell me, if there's anybody that disagrees with this, I want to hear your argument because his numbers scream All-Star game. 396 on base percentage. He's second in the NL and fourth in all of Major League Baseball with a 904 OPS. He's good for seventh in the National League. Plus, he leads the league in walks, and he gets on base at just a ridiculous clip, right around 400. His on-base percentage is at 400. This is, without a doubt, come on, argue with me, without a doubt, the definition of a complete snub. Snub. No doubt. I don't get it. And you would think a New York guy, Mets, Yankees, either one of those guys, how Major League Baseball plays this game, because it is a game outside of the field too. There's a political game going on. You don't see, he's a big star of the sport, and he's not in the All-Star game. Just insane. So that's where we start. We start with Juan Soto. Then number 2 for me is Andy Page, is the outfielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'll tell you what, the Dodgers, he's had this breakout season, Andy Page. He's only 24 years old. Through 87 games, listen to this. He's hitting .290. He's got 129 with runners in scoring position. I don't understand how he doesn't get in the All-Star game. He got 17 home runs, more than Fernando Tatis. Okay? And he's got nearly 20 more RBIs than Fernando Tatis. And as you, for those of you watching and those of you listening to the show, you know I'm a Padre fan. So I love my Fernando Tatis Jr. But Andy Page's, he is unbelievable. We talk about offense. He's got 58 RBI. He's even got a defensive season that is stellar. He's in the 94th percentile or better when it comes to arm value and fielding. So it's baffling. Why would Andy Page's not be in the All-Star game? Again, this is the definition of a snub. I mean, you can't argue that. You just can't argue that. So Andy Page's is my number 2. Now we get to a pitcher. And this one, I understand the team, smaller market teams, usually, that's why the Juan Soto snub was so incredible and surprising to me. But smaller market teams here, like the Minnesota Twins and Joe Ryan, right-handed pitcher there. He's the biggest pitching snub to me of all. And even ESPN, watching yesterday, ESPN called it the biggest oversight this year for the All-Star game. Because you look at Joe Ryan, he's been an absolute ace, pitching to an 8-4 record. I'm reading his stats here, with a stellar 2.76 ERA across 104 1/3 innings. He's got a .89 whip. He's tied for third best among qualified starters, and he's striking out nearly 29% of his batters faced, 29%, while only walking 5.2%. I mean, by any measurement, that's elite pitching. No question. He's been a bright spot on that Twins team. And so Joe Ryan not being in the All-Star game, are you kidding me? And this is not just, oh, I think this player should be this player and you have great arguments. These guys, these 3 players that I've named, I don't know how you deny them All-Star opportunity. Then you have Christopher Sanchez, the Phillies, the left-handed pitcher there, being a southpaw, of course. He's a 2-time snub. He was overlooked last year. So there's something with Christopher. I don't know who he went awry with, but Christopher Sanchez can't get in the All-Star game as well. Now, he was a replacement last year, so he wasn't selected, then he got in as a replacement. But he's having an even better season than he had that last year. He's got a 2.6 ERA across 7 starts, 102/3 innings. Good for 7th in the NL overall. He's given up just 7 home runs all season. He's got a .62 home run to 9 inning mark. So that's how many home runs does he give up per 9 innings pitched? It's .62, less than 1. And he's 5th in the NFL in that, NL in that category. The Phillies are 13-4 when he pitches. 13-4. That's the definition of an all-star. You push forward your team. You lift your team. And that's what an all-star pitcher does. And that's what Christopher Sanchez did. Again. And, I just, his phone should be ringing first. There's no question. So Christopher Sanchez is my number 4. Now, closing out the top 5, as much as it pains me, because with all due respect to you Philly fans, I'm tired of hearing about the Phillies. You're good. I get it. Trey Turner, the shortstop for the Phillies. He is boasting the best F4 among all National League shortstops at 3.8. He's defensively a wizard. He's got 8 outs above average ranking, which trails on only two other NL shortstops. His teammates, this is a guy they rally around. And Trey Turner, moving around in the order, he still continued to be not only a great defensive shortstop, but also a great hitter. But you look at other guys, Ellie De La Cruz got the spot. And he's a fine young player, strikes out way too much for my liking, by the way. But this, I don't see how you turn down Trey Turner. The guy deserves to be there above Ellie De La Cruz, even though he's a great player too. Turner's 120, his 122 WRC plus, if you know what that is right there with the league's best. It's a loaded position. So I understand De La Cruz being selected. Also, you need a representative from each team, and so maybe they weigh that a little bit. The Reds, actually, Andrew Abbott did get selected as a replacement. But you look at the situation with Trey Turner, I don't see how he's not there. Just don't see it. Now, there were other snubs too. I narrowed it down to 5. For you guys out there, I'd love to hear sort of what you think, who got snubbed, who should be there and is not there. And of course, there could be some people who pull out here and there. We already have some that have happened, so you get some replacement players, which is great. But these 5 guys, to me, just the ones that screamed it. So let me know. Again, leave your comments down below. Let me know your comments on the podcast. You can also go to x.com @Sportsnaut, and you can tell me what you think. You can also tweet me. I know it's X now, but we still call it tweets. At @LVGully, and let me know what you think. Do you agree with my top 5? Did you think that another player was a bigger snub than the 5 I named? Let me know. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, guess what? We're going to get into Robo Ump. I am Robo Ump. No, seriously. The future is now. ABS system, automatic balls and strike system, is coming to the All-Star game. You will get to experience it. They tested it in spring training. I think this is probably going to be instituted next year. Thank you with the way umpiring is in this league. So we're going to take a look at that. We'll talk a little bit about it when we come back. This is Big League Buzz. I am Scott. This is Sportsnaut. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Segment 2 here on Big League Buzz, the MLB podcast from your pals, your sports buddies here at Sportsnaut. I am Scott Branson, your host. Thanks for being with me. All right, we gave you the top 5 snubs. Now we're going to get into another feature we're going to see in the All-Star game, with this show being all themed around the All-Star break and the All-Star game coming up this week, is automated ball strike system. The ABS Robo Ump is going to be on full display, so you can watch it and tell us what you think. But when we're going to break away from who isn't at the All-Star game and talk about this instead. It's going to be this groundbreaking technology. If you're not familiar with it, the automatic ball strike, or ABS challenge system, is going to be up and running. Robo Umps are officially at the Midsummer Classic. This system, which is powered by T-Mobile 5G network, uses what's called the Hawkeye system to track a pitch's trajectory and location, giving an immediate verdict on whether it was a ball or strike. So, for those of you who like to scream at the television and at the umpires, like me, I admit it, it's gotten really bad, so it really gets me going. It's going to be on display. So how will it work in the All-Star game? This is really interesting. And that is teams will get 2 challenges each, and they keep a challenge as it's successful. So if you watch football, in the NFL, when a coach throws out the challenge flag, if the call is overturned, he keeps the challenge. If the call is denied and it's upheld, then you lose the challenge, meaning you've used it, it's gone. So in the All-Star game, you're going to have 2 as the manager, and if it's successful, you'll keep it. So you'll keep your 2. You could have 2 the whole game if every time you challenge, you're right and it's overturned. Only the pitcher, catcher, or batter can initiate a challenge by tapping their hat or helmet right after the pitch. So let's say you're up there and the ball comes through and the umpire calls it a ball. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. The pitcher just goes like this, or the batter taps their head, or the catcher taps his head, top of his helmet, and they can do a review. Which is interesting because it's not in the NFL, it's controlled by the coach. So there's no help from the dugout or other players allowed. So this is the wrinkle. The pitcher, catcher, batter are responsible for that challenge. So if you're upset because you missed the ball coming through the strike zone and it's called a strike, and you tap your helmet because you're a little emotional, a little angry, guess what? You're going to cost your team the challenge, which you could use later in the game, which could be more significant. You never know. So putting it there and allowing the players to make the call is very interesting. And I want to make this clear. This is not some sort of gimmick. ABS is in the minor leagues since 2021. They've developed the technology. It's gotten much better than it was 4 years ago. And it's been in all AAA games for the last 3 years. And there's been really a positive reception over it. We've seen really egregious calls, or just, looking, even good umpires miss calls sometimes. And we saw really positive feedback during spring training. The MLB Joint Competition Committee, yeah, I got that right. I'm reading my notes here, is expected to decide later this summer if it will debut in the majors next year. I can't see it not debuting. I mean, what would be the reason not to have it? Every other sport, and I know baseball's different, and I'm a purist in many, many ways, so stick with me. But every other sport, you have the ability to overturn missed or bad calls. Basketball, football, all those sports, even in soccer, they have reviews now. So there's no reason to me why the majors wouldn't have this next year. It's a big deal for the All-Star game. It makes it a little more interesting and more precise, getting the balls and strikes right. It's also going to be fascinating to see how it plays out on this big stage. The technology has been really well tested. So I don't see any outages or anything like that to do that. But I do think that this is also big to get fans on board with it, to get people familiar with it so they can get a glimpse of how this will work next year when they're watching their everyday, ordinary MLB 162 game season game. So it'll be interesting. And I think that it's a no-brainer. Just a no-brainer. Get the calls right. We have the technology now. It's not 1950. Yes, I'm not a massive fan of the pitch clock. I'm not a massive fan of the extra inning rule, the runner at second. That stuff and bothers me a little bit. But I've come to live with it because it is what it is. So with ABS, this All-Star game is going to be a big, I think, gauge for where people are at with it. And if fans really like it and it shows up at the game, because it's going to be there, but will they use it? I would imagine they will. Somebody will use it. And people will see how it plays out, how it doesn't hold up the game too much. Because of the Hawkeye technology, you know the trajectory. It's measuring the ball. It's quick. It's not like you have to sit there for 20 minutes and watch back and forth, where we see the delays in the NFL where you got a human being looking at it. Now, there's a human being with ABS looking at it too, but the system is tracking it. And because of the technology, it's pretty instantaneous. So I think it's going to be good. So ABS coming to the All-Star game, coming to Major League Baseball next year. Please do that. Very cool. Another piece of the All-Star game that's going to be fun to watch this year. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We're going to get into my prediction for the All-Star game MVP. Who's going to just run it up and have a great game on a large stage? I will tell you here on Big League Buzz. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Welcome back to the All-Star Game special here on Big League Buzz from Sportsnaut. We're talking Major League Baseball. We're talking the Major League Baseball Midsummer Classic. The All-Star Game is upon us. We've gone through my biggest snubs. We've talked about the use of the automatic ball strike system, ABS, Robo Umpire. It's going to be in the game. And in this last segment, I'm going to give you a little bit of, look into the future. That's right. I'm not Karnak, if you're old enough to understand who that is. I'm going to predict who the All-Star Game MVP will be. So you can come back here after the game and tell me how brilliant my pick was, how I have foreknowledge, how I am the Nostradamus of baseball podcasts. So, or you can come back and tell me when I'm wrong and laugh at me. Either way, I'll accept it. But I appreciate you being with us here on Big League Buzz. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you get your audio and rate and review the show if you will. We just started the show in earnest just a few months ago from here at Sportsnaut. We've been covering baseball and Sportsnaut for years and years. You're familiar with us, but we would certainly appreciate the ratings and the reviews there. All right. Now we're going to look at the most valuable player. It's a big deal at the All-Star Game. You think about players, Hall of Famers like Derek Jeter, Mike Trout. It's the Ted Williams Award. Ted Williams, the Splendid Splinter. That's right. So you had unexpected heroes like 2023, just a couple years ago with Elias Diaz. You had two pitchers who've won since 2000 with Shane Bieber and Mariano Rivera. So you can't rule anybody out. You think in certain sports, like NFL, always dominated by quarterbacks when it comes to season MVP. When it comes to All-Star Game MVP, it's just who shines on the big stage on a big night. And it could be anybody. So you've seen a lot of people picking, Cal Raleigh, who's having that great year. And you can watch the show. I did an interview about Cal Raleigh just a couple weeks ago. Check that out. Or Pete Alonso or Terry Skubal. Those are all guys very well could be the MVP. But I've got my own pick. And I'm going small market again. Do you get a theme? But my MVP prediction, let me pronounce that correctly. You ready for this? Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton, the outfielder of the Minnesota Twins, will be the 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star MVP. What do you think? Tell me. I can't hear you. Let me know what you think. But he's only had 2 All-Star selections in 11 seasons, battling injuries, but he's already got 20 home runs. I know you guys all like the long ball. He's a great center fielder. And one of his most underrated pieces of his game is base running. Base running. If you watch this guy run the base. If you remember 2022, Buxton hit the game-winning homer for the AL in the All-Star game, but Giancarlo Stanton, Yankees, the Yankees. No offense, Yankees fan, but we're all jealous, yes. Giancarlo Stanton won the MVP award, even though Buxton had the game-winning home run. Are you kidding me? So that is hometown favoritism. It was in New York, of course. Well, here's why I picked Buxton. Not only because of what a good player is. He's fun to watch, too. But he was born in ding, 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 Georgia. Georgia's on his mind. Or he's on Georgia's mind. So he's born 190 miles away from Atlanta. It's a homecoming game for him. He can handle the spotlight clearly by that home run a few years ago. He's motivated. He's having a great season. And to me, it'll be a redemption story. He should have won MVP in 2022. So now, in 2025, Byron Buxton will become the MVP of this All-Star game. What do you think? Who's your MVP pick? Give me your predictions. I want to see who you pick and why you pick them. So we'll see how it all heads out. But I'm excited for the game. I hope you're excited for the game. We'll get back to guests next week and with a lot of hot stuff. Did you see this thing about Ohtani, that story about Ohtani maybe becoming a closer? There's some crazy stuff going on in baseball, and we're going to talk about it all here on Sportsnaut's Major League Baseball podcast. That is this show, Big League Buzz. Want to thank you for being with us. Enjoy the All-Star game. And we'll come back. We'll talk about the results. We'll see if I was right on my predictions. We'll see if any of the players I mentioned in the snubs get picked as alternates. Shouldn't say as alternates, as replacements for this All-Star game. But we'll see. Thanks for tuning in to Big League Buzz, the Major League Baseball. Thanks for tuning in to Big League Buzz, the Major League Baseball podcast from Sportsnaut. Again, don't forget to rate, review the show, subscribe to the show. If you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you like right there the video, but also subscribe to the Sportsnaut YouTube channel. We got lots of baseball information here, as well as hit that notifications bell so you know every time we have a new show. For everybody here at Sportsnaut and everybody here at Big League Buzz, have a great weekend. Have a great All-Star game week and an All-Star game break. And we will talk to you next time. And don't forget, keep swinging for the fences.